Good evening, both of you. Hey, everybody. We're gonna just pause for a second, and I want to share this onto my page.
Yep, we're
And
doing our adding real quick here.
yep. Uh-oh, don't want to do that.
Takes a minute first to do all this.
Oh, I got to turn the comments on because I want everybody to chime in and say hi. I gotta do better with interacting with people. I'm horrible at it. Where's this stinking broadcast at?
Oh shoot! I just
There it is.
How did I change myself?
Share. More options.
We're just being a little slow this morning or this afternoon.
To see, every time
Hi,
I do
Jerry.
that, I share it on my own place. What's up, Jerry? How you doing? Hey, Sue, how are you? I saw you
Mom's on
earlier
here
today.
too.
Who's on here?
Mom.
Pusha's on here. Hello. Yeah, tonight it's just us two, and we are going to go over our ghost adventures from the old mill. It's up in Dundee, Michigan, and we got a snap invite at the. We had a few days notice, but we got Fox Thomas, the guy that we had on about the Ouija boards. He invited us. All right. Whatever dog is down there, you need to
Mom
get out.
Mom said Busha. It's not Mom, it's Busha.
Come on.
Okay.
Come on.
So
first we got to rearrange the dogs to see where they go.
Come on, Boo.
Come on, Boo. No, don't call her. I don't want her going that way. Nope. She's good.
I'm stopping her.
Come here, Boo.
The dogs are being difficult this evening.
I don't want to have a replay of when they
tore out the wires last time.
Yep. And now she's. Oh my God.
Boo, where are you?
It's got the mouse all twisted up. This is professional as hell.
Gotta love the dogs. Boo berries.
Okay, so we got enough people now. Let's go ahead and get into it. So, what was your initial thoughts on the old mill?
So, we've only heard about the mill. Neither of us have ever been to the mill. I was very intrigued by it. It was so much more than I thought it would be. And it's beautiful.
Yep.
They have, there's educational stuff there, but also they have like a small, like, community room.
Yeah, because they do.
But then they actually have a hall that you can rent out as well for like receptions.
And it's a nice place.
And it's big.
And it looks like those barn doors probably open up. So like when the weather's
look
nice,
outside
you can look over
and everything. And so it's really cool. And then they have 3 levels, and it's all got different like themes, but it's all like all history stuff, which is really
it's their historical society.
Yeah, it's just really cool. And it's just really cool. And you learn that it was Henry Ford is the one that bought this mill.
I'm gonna knock this mill.
Henry Ford is the one that bought the mill, and he bought like I guess a lot of the mills around in that area. And so he liked to preserve them because he liked old mills. And so that's how this, they have some things like they have an old, what was it? The big metal thing.
Oh, yeah. I forgot what they called it.
But there's things from Henry Ford in there.
Hello, Lisa. How are you?
And so it's pretty, and I didn't want to go in there expecting something to happen just because, from everybody we talked to, everything always happens to them there. But I didn't want to go in with that thought just because everybody says something's going to happen. However, that place is lit up. It's lit up.
And there was a newer kind of energy there because we actually got invited because one of the founders of Swippy was having a birthday party for their granddaughter. And she wanted to do a ghost hunt there with her friends. So there was a teenage girl energy. And while they were doing the tour, I'll talk about my experience first and then let you talk about when you and Carmen were walking around. Because I went and took like part of the official tour that Adam gives. Yeah. And
Carmen and I chose not to do that because we didn't want to know where the hot spots were.
Yeah. So things were happening like right off the bat when we were on this tour. One lady, she actually like it looked like something pushed her into a partition. She definitely lost her footing, but and I was behind her, and she didn't seem like she was standing in a way that she tripped on anything or anything like that. And then about 2 minutes after that, she was leaning on a table and and I tried to do this after this happened to her and after she left, but like something lifted the table up.
Mhm.
But in I couldn't lean on top of the table and lift it up. I had to actually pick it up. So I mean,
and it didn't shake.
Right. So
because
that was
I had something happen at that table.
Yep, that was a Swippy team member. So she was like, "Oh, I got to get out of here for a couple minutes." It's so something was messing with her right off the bat. In the same area, that was on the second floor. In the same area, we heard.
Was it second floor or third floor?
No, it was second floor.
Was
We
it?
heard people walking around up above us, and people were saying that they thought they heard voices, and Adam thought that maybe Fox Thomas was up there, the guy that we had on about the Ouija board. Excuse me. And but they say that one of the claims there is that the kids like to play around on the third floor when they're on the second floor, and then play around on the second floor when they go up to the third floor. So we yelled up to them, and sure enough, there was nobody up there. So I mean, that was weird right off the bat. There was a lot of weird energy around the teenage girls. I think teenage girls bring a different energy.
Well,
to the
and they're
place.
young, so
Yep.
I mean,
Yep, and they have, of
and
course,
well,
they were all
and
into it.
also though, this is the first time they've been back there.
Oh,
I think Adam said since November.
yeah.
So this is the first time that everybody's been back, so that energy is going to be a little bit more
Yep.
open too. And so it was, I mean, kind of a reunion for them all to be back, and not the whole team for them was back, but a lot
There's
of
quite a few though.
but a lot of them
Yeah.
were back.
Tim
so
was there and his wife, and Stacy was there, and Fox Thomas was there, and
And
he
his
hadn't been there in a
girlfriend,
long
yeah.
time, I don't think, and Kennedy, and of course Adam was there, and
yeah.
so yeah, they had quite a few, plus the two founders.
Yeah.
So
So Carmen and I, right off the bat, we decided we didn't want to do the tour because we didn't want to know about everything. So then Tim was like, "Well, if you guys want to go
what's
ahead,
happening, Fox?
I want to go and walk around. You guys can." So we're like, "Oh, okay." So we decided. He gave us a little bit of details and where to go, and didn't give us anything but where we know how to get to where we needed to go. So we started off going in the basement, and ironically funny, Fox and his girlfriend were down there. We didn't know that. So we kind of scared them, and they scared us when we went down there because we weren't expecting anybody. But Carmen and I, both of us had experiences in their basement. Like I said, neither of us are going. I mean, we've heard some stories about everything, but we didn't know like details of stuff and about any of the places in the mill.
I think Fox and Kennedy they got an EVP in the basement. Fox, if you give me permission, I'll try and see if I can get to Facebook and play the clip. So just go ahead and in the comments tell me if I have permission or not.
So when we were down there, Fox and Kennedy were down there, and we actually when we were in the one room, Carmen went this one way, and there's like kind of like tubular areas, but like there's a walkway. And so Carmen saw somebody like peekaboo out at her, and literally Fox and that they said, yeah, that somebody peeks out there. Where Adam sets up, he had given his girl, as they call him, his girlfriend,
His ghost
girlfriend, flowers and a necklace, and it sits up on this tower. Well, as soon as I walked in, I felt like, and there's like stuff stored up there, so it's kind of hard to see all the way to the back. I felt like there was like tons of people like all coming out, like, when you when there's an accident, everybody's gawking, trying to see that, kind of like, oh, that's what it seemed like. Just everybody coming out of the woodwork trying to find out, go, who's here, let's go.
Well, there's a lot of new people there that night.
Yeah, so they were,
girls and then us.
Well, and Adam said they did he prepped saying, hey, there's gonna be new people.
Yeah.
And so they were curious just as we were curious about them. So we had that happen. And so then Carmen, we were down there for a little bit. So then Carmen and I went upstairs to go into this hall that they run out. And it was so funny because we started walking. I turned back, and I could have sworn I heard somebody right behind us. And I just went to Carmen and I'm like, do you feel like we're being followed? And both of us looked at the same day. It was like, it's Adam's girlfriend. And she was following us. And so that kind of was intriguing, but it feels like she followed Carmen and I a lot throughout the first floor. Second floor.
You mean the basement or the first floor?
No, the first floor.
Okay.
Because we were in the hall area.
Yep.
Second floor, we really didn't. I mean, the energy, but this is something too. The energy changes from room to room there, even on
Well,
the
there's a
same
lot,
floor. It is
but that
so crazy.
it makes sense because there's a lot of historic artifacts. There's a lot of stuff that people have donated. So, I mean, if you believe in attachments at all, I mean, that place is
Oh,
like a
yeah.
cesspool
And
of items that
Adam
could
laughed at
have
this
attachments.
because there is a spot in the one area, and Jeff and I both are like, nobody ever points us out but us, and we're like, oh, there's military uniforms.
Yeah,
We
yep.
both pointed those
Yeah,
out
they had a
right away. It was
closet full of them, and
yeah,
they're
and it was like,
authentic. They're
oh,
not copies.
yeah. And it was just funny that, and he goes, nobody else ever comments, and
We
both
had
of
a-
us commented on that.
I'm gonna go back to an experience that I had when I was with a team years ago with haunted military uniforms. We were in it was at the Toledo Rep, and they had a closet that was full of old military uniforms as well as some other costumes, but the bulk of it was military uniforms. And somebody that I was with got scratched. Like I saw it form right in front of me.
Mhm.
I got it on video. Like she stuck her hand in there. She's like, I feel some energy right here. And she's like, ow, and a couple swear words. And then she pulls up her shirt and you start seeing these scratches form on her arm.
Yeah.
And it was, with the military uniforms, because there's a lot of, if they're authentic ones, there's a lot of violence,
Yeah.
that
You don't know what
happened with those uniforms.
Yeah, you don't know what's happened with them. I know. So then second floor, we really didn't. I mean, just the energy. I mean, we got energy flows, but then third floor,
Yeah,
that place is crazy. I actually, unfortunately, and I'm so mad because it didn't. We tried to see if it was going to be picked up. I just was and because Jeff doesn't have anything loaded, but let me see if I can show a picture
Well, that
of this
mannequin.
mannequin because she's crazy.
What's the
scary.
one that it's the one that you use for the promo.
Yeah,
Mannequin
that
is
mannequin.
creepy as hell. It looks
So-
like no matter where you're standing in that room, it seems like that thing is
I
staring
don't
at
know
you.
if you guys can see it very well. So this is the okay. So I was
Hang on, let me see if let me try this one.
change the lighting a little bit.
Does that help?
No,
No.
it's because it's
Okay.
reflection. So anyhow, with this, I was standing and I was taking these pictures, and I was in between one,
Hey Kelly, how you doing?
and I literally just I was holding my camera. I was getting ready to snap the picture, and I had an orb with a tail come like right on the corner of my phone, and it just kind of up and kind of squiggled away, and I couldn't get my phone to take a picture, and it was just like, are you kidding me? And I think I had another blur spot, which I have Jeff. He's gonna look at it to see, but it's another spot, and it's just on my live pictures when I because I have an iPhone, so I do the live pictures sometimes, and it's on one of those, but it's like a cloud that just kind of appears in the corner and then goes away.
And
So-
I gotta say this too. And Fox did an EVP session with it and sat down next to it, and we had the lights off. And I don't know if you're still in here, Fox, but like I swear to God that I just kept waiting for that thing to just lunge at him. I mean, just seeing the silhouettes, and it just I mean, I know it wasn't going to, but I was just like, oh my God, that thing's gonna jump him and kick his ass.
We also had Carmen was standing in front of me in the same little area. It's right in like the mannequin's up in front. Then there's like some space, and then like there's a little wall that sticks out. Carmen was standing there in front of me, and I was behind her. And all of a sudden, she goes, "Oh my God, something's." She goes, and I actually felt her back, and it was so cold. But not only that, when I touched her back, I don't know if you. Not everybody might have been this dumb as a kid, but I know everybody's probably done it. I would
Everybody
hope
has done it.
that when you're a kid and
All 80s kids have done this.
right? When you're a kid and you get like you put your tongue on a battery, or and you get that little zap. Well,
Yeah.
that is what was happening when I touched Carmen's back, and it was just like crazy, and it was just like I just could feel it, and the coldness from Carmen was just crazy. And then like I said, I had Fox touch her back too, because I was like, you got to feel it, because it was just crazy. The chill and the energy coming off of her was insane. It was only in this one spot. And I mean, I work with Carmen often. I've never had anything like that happen with the two of us together. And then, but then when you were talking about that stand, I actually went over to that stand and put my hand, and it had, it was like, it's got skins, animal
Yeah.
skins on
Yep.
it.
Rabbit furs.
Yeah. And so I don't know why I decided to put my hand on it. Well, all of a sudden it's like vibrating, and I'm like trying to see if it's like, well, can I'm rocking it. I'm like, well, I can't rock it. This stand actually vibrates when you push, like, and you don't even. I mean, you can push down on it, and it's not moving, and you feel the vibration coming off, and nobody's moving. There's nobody up there, and nothing else around it is moving. You can touch anything else, nothing gives the vibration like this thing does.
And that's the one that, like I said, that Stacy put her hand. She was leaning on it, but like I said, not in a way I couldn't get it to jump like it did. So here again, what is it, paranormal or not? I don't know. I'm just saying that as soon as she left, the skeptic in me like went into debunk mode, and like I couldn't push it to get it to jump up like it did, and yeah, I mean there was something there. I think so, and that's a spot too that and we stopped at that spot because Adam played a couple EVPs that they've gotten in past investigations from that exact spot. So
yeah, and like I said, Carmen and I didn't know anything about it, so.
I got a question for you guys. Can you tell me if we are blurry and fuzzy? Because I watched the live when I did a recorded interview with Adam. Okay, because like we keep in this goofy
I think it's
wired.
because our lighting, but we're fine.
Okay, but the other day it was like really, really crappy. So,
yeah, no, it looks fine.
Cool. Kelly, you said y'all stopped. What do you mean? Okay, thank you everybody. Because the one I did with Adam, because Adam and I talked about this, and I posted it as a recorded live on Saturday. So that video is still up there too if you guys want to hear Adam's perspective from last Friday. Yeah. But like my picture looked blurry as hell and his was fine. So I don't know. Yeah. It was weird.
So, but I mean, so upstairs in the third floor, there was a lot of, we were trying different things. Fox was doing stuff. Jeff was doing stuff. Two of the other members of Swippy were up there. And so everybody was just kind of it was a very relaxed, fun night. I mean, you get invited. It was a ghost hunt. It wasn't a paranormal investigation. It was just, we go there, we're having a good time. And we actually got to, and we'll talk about it in a little bit, but we got to do an experiment that I've always wanted to do. Yeah. And it really, really produced results and it's really, really given us a lot of different ideas of what we can do now to top what we did and to expand it and to get more proof, and it's scientific kind of. Yeah. So
another thing we're going to do tonight, I'm just going to say this as a side note. If you guys have any questions, tonight is a really, really good night to shoot them. Maybe I'll just get into the experiment right away. Let's just talk about that right now. So,
and this is something we've been talking about doing.
Yep.
So this was our first step. Baseline. This is like our baseline of trying this experiment out.
There's a couple paranormal obsessions I have, and one of them was Ouija boards, but I lived that fantasy out through Fox Thomas's documentary. Sorry, Fox, you had to take the hit on that one, but like, I could have very easily did what you did, and now that you did it, I'm glad I didn't, and I'm just gonna, I'm gonna take your word for it. So
I appreciate it too.
But Ouija boards in the whole remote viewing thing, like that topic just fascinates me. I needed someone to explain to me like what it looks like to you, the person doing it, what it looks like, what it feels like, what you see, what you do, what you can and can't do. So I wanted, we had Adam and Carmen and Dana were all sitting up in the banquet hall. And then we went down. It was me, Fox, his girlfriend Kennedy, Stacy was down there, and then Tim's wife. I believe her name is Beth. If I got that wrong, I apologize. Huh?
Is it Beth or Deb?
I think it's Beth, but it could be Deb. I don't know.
Fox can tell us.
Yep. So we all went in the basement then and set up equipment, and our goal was to get Adam to either come through the spirit box, to get him to light up equipment, to knock something over, to make noises, stuff like that. Hang on, what's this guy saying here? We'll just step back a second. Does the concept of ghost hunt freak you out? No, not really. it doesn't freak me out. And
We'll have to watch that one.
how my
I don't care.
anyway, so no, it does not freak me out. It shit, I got thrown off. So it's like the spirits there very much welcome the ghost hunts because they do like to communicate with the people that are there.
Especially at I mean, they actually like they have it at the mill. I mean, they're attached to they're attached to Adam. They have attachments.
They get upset if Adam isn't there.
Yeah.
You know, if he goes long spurts without being there, they actually, get upset and they tell him.
And we'll have proof here in a little bit.
So going back to the story, so we had Adam and Dana and Carmen were sitting upstairs. We were in the basement and we had equipment set up. And, like I said, our goal was to get them to manipulate the equipment or show us some definitive proof that Adam is there. So we did our thing. The REM pod was going off like crazy. That was one thing that happened that we saw. The REM pod was going nuts. No voices came through the spirit box. I didn't catch any EVPs, although I got one more recorder to listen to. Fox, I don't know if you listened to any of that, but let me know if you got an EVP during that portion of the night. So we were, I don't know, 15, 20 minutes we were down there.
I don't even know.
And then I decided to come back up. So I came back up because we got a voice through the Ovilus that said finish. And so I decided to come back up thinking that they were telling us that they were finished. And so as I come up, I got into the room where they were, and Adam was still doing his thing though. No, because he said he was walking down the hall.
No, he was walking back up. Yep. So he was trying, but because it's a process for him to come back out of it. He has to do it slow. He has to go in slow and has to come out slow.
Right.
But so I can tell what happened on our end.
Hang on, wait 1 second.
I'm not going to.
Little inside baseball. So anyway, I go back up there and I put my camera on Adam, and he's telling us that he's walking down the hall, and so he comes out of it, and he looks at me and he's like, "Why was Fox?"
No, you gotta wait because he was not right away.
Go ahead.
Because you gotta tell the part of our stuff to leads to that part. When we're connected.
Whoa. You're going to have to take over this part then, because I don't know what you're talking about.
So Jeff, he tells you about what they experienced, like some of the stuff they experienced downstairs. But at the same time, I'm upstairs filming Adam. Mm-hmm. So right off the bat, I just start my camera, and of course it's on my phone. I start recording on my phone, and you hear Carmen. We did figure out the one voice says is Carmen saying, "I see him." Then right behind her, another one is, "I see him."
Yeah. Yep.
On my phone. And it was like, whoa, wait a minute. And it's like, so, and kept, and so we've at least, and this is why it's important that we have other things going on, because we had recorders up there with us. So then we could, and then with the filming, we could debunk it that's the first one is definitely Carmen, but the second one is not Carmen. And it is clear. I see him.
And that's the thing too. Like I'm going to put out, like I said, an edited video of kind of the highlights, but I think we're going to put the raw videos up as well. Because we filmed the Adam end and we filmed our end. Yeah. So we're going to post those as well. And you guys can just, I'll say that they're raw and you guys can watch them and do what you want with them. But
so, because this is the first time I've ever seen anyone do a remote. So it's very interesting to see. I mean, he gets himself and calms himself down, gets him in a space. Did learn I can talk to him when he is doing this, which is very good to know because this helps for the next time we do this. And he tells us what he's doing. Yeah. He told us he's walking down the hall. He's walking down the steps. He's telling us, I'm right in front of Jeff. I'm touching his ear. I'm touching his nose. And mind you, Jeff has no idea what's going on.
I didn't know what we were going to do. And I didn't tell him what we were setting up. So
because this was like our baseline to start doing this. I think this was kind of our baseline. So we know what we can do the next time, because we already have
Yep.
we probably have at least 3 or 4 more things that we can, like 3 or 4 more different times we want to do this with different ways of doing it now.
Because I learned too a lot about the remotes by interviewing Adam afterwards. He like one thing I didn't know is that he really can't, like, he can't come into like the room that we're in and pick out all details.
Yeah.
Like it's everything's kind of fuzzy to him.
Mhm.
He only picks
Only
up on the
certain
things that are important,
Yeah.
and he can't hear everything either.
Yeah.
He only hears what's relevant
Yep.
and important. So that's one thing that I've always wanted to know.
So,
like,
yeah, it's, I mean, it's really, and
Yep.
it's interesting to see what's, and now the next time I'm like, okay, we need to have a DVR set up next time so we
Yeah.
can see what's going on
yeah,
downstairs.
we just didn't have time for that.
Yeah, but like I said, this is our baseline, because it would have been interesting to see what he was telling us, to see it actually happening at the same time as he's telling us, because then he actually had told us, and we actually he said, I'm going to stand on the red spot.
Yep.
And I'm going to jump up and down. And we're like, the red spot. And then I started thinking, I'm like, I'm wondering.
And then when I came up too, he told me the same thing. He was like, obviously I stood on the red, and I'm like,
yeah,
I knew what he was talking about, but I had to ask, like, okay, so what are you talking about? And he just looked at me and smiled. He goes, well, the REM pod,
yeah,
which went off no less than 10 times.
Right.
And he said too
and
that,
he did it multiple
Yep.
times.
And it
he
was
touching it.
and when you see the video, it was like almost on command a few
Yeah.
times. But then at one point too, he was trying to get, he said, there's a spirit there named Bill that apparently is the basement is his area, but Bill was pissed off at the REM pod and he went and tried to kick it a couple times. So I think that was a couple other REM pod hits that we had, was Bill trying to kick it.
Okay, so we have this going, and so then Adam just starts laughing, and we're like, he goes, Fox is excited about something.
Yep.
I have no idea what, but Fox is excited about something. So we're like, okay. And so, I mean, that's a mental note that we're keeping, that, okay, we have to ask about the excitable. We have to ask about ears and noses. And then going in front of the cameras, which I don't know. Have you done the video yet?
I'm going to watch it again.
Okay.
But yeah, I did watch the video.
Yeah. Because Adam said a couple times that he was going in front of the camera.
Yep.
So then there's a little girl that is there. Her name's,
hang on one second. Let's go back to the Fox being excited.
Oh,
because
the Fox beating.
that's
Okay.
the topic. So then when I got up there, he's like, what was Fox so excited about? And there was one point where something came over the ovulus that like Fox like freaked out. Like he was like, oh my
Wasn't
God.
it a
Like,
number or something?
yeah, it was a number. And he was thinking it was the age of one of the little kid spirits that's there. But I mean, he was jumping up and down like he was really, really excited about it. And that's, and here again, this is not Adam saying 20 things and one was right.
No.
This was Adam said, why did Fox get excited? And that's one of the few
Yeah.
things that he said. He didn't ask anything and was wrong about anything. Dude, when he said that, I was like, you son of a bitch, you were down there with us. Like that's to me, that's about as proof, as much proof as you can get that people can do a remote viewing.
Yeah.
I mean,
and it was interesting because this, once again, this is the first time Adam's been back to the mill since November. So obviously Nevaeh and Marie, which Marie is the girlfriend, Nevaeh is the little girl.
The Nevaeh story is very, very sad.
So Nevaeh starts coming down and wants hugs from him and everything. And so he actually is starting to get, you can see him getting pulled to them, and he kind of pulled away from what we were asking.
Yep.
Because they caught his attention. And then we find out later he has never done a remote like this at the mill, and he hasn't been there in a long time. So this was something new, because the spirits there have not seen him in that concept before.
Yeah, he's never done the remote.
He's
in
never
the mill.
inside. He's gone outside the mill, but never inside the mill. So they have never seen him like that. So they didn't want, then he was, and he really started getting involved. And you could even almost see just the change in just sitting there, videotape him. You could see the change that he could, I mean, it was he just was different.
Yep.
And then, so he finally, he finally let them know he has to leave. And they just were pulling him and didn't want him to go. But he finally said, no, I got to go. And So then he brought it back to Jeff and kind of doing some stuff with the camera and slowly pulling himself back out.
Okay, let's pause on that
Okay.
because I want to go back to something that happened too. So on the very first REM pod hit that Adam did, because he said he was trying to, dance around on the red is what he said. The Ovilus says, and I don't think I even told you this yet. The Ovilus said there he is.
Oh, really?
Like at the exact moment that the REM pod went off. I found that little tidbit last night.
Huh.
So that was the Ovilus. I'm not a big fan of that piece of equipment, but that night was one of the times where I'm like, well, we got to have one, because I think a lot of answers on it were relevant. Now, I'm not going to say it's absolute evidence or absolute scientific proof, but I guess the two things that I would call evidence, and I use that term. I have a specific definition for evidence versus that was interesting and that's cool and that could be evidence.
Mm-hmm.
But Adam talking about Fox getting excited, there is no way that he would guess that unless he was down there.
Yeah.
And then when Adam said he was dancing on the red, when we asked him to, and the REM pod went off. So I mean, those two things are undeniable.
So, but next time, like I said, we've but like I said, when for Adam to even come back out, I mean, it was an experience for him too, because he had never done this at the mill. And I mean, we finally got him to come back out, because he was, I mean, it's almost like he didn't want to, because he's never experienced that with the spirits there, but he finally did come back out. But it's like, I'm sure he's going to do it again, because I think he really enjoyed seeing them at that side of it.
Sounded too like the spirits liked seeing him in that form too, because he, so, there again, I need to learn a whole lot more about the remote thing and the experience of the person doing it, because, it's fascinating to me.
Yeah. It's really intriguing. Now I've never been one that's been more on the real experiment side of it, but now with this, I've gotten so many ideas of how I want to try things and do things just to prove it.
And if anybody watching has an idea on what we could do in that experiment, because and not just that one, but like, and one of the things that I want to do is there's not a lot of proof of mediumship. And that's one thing, I've got a couple ideas for experiments that I want to do sometime too, but it's kind of hard because you can't do it at a residential private case, because you're there to help the people. So that's not the time to like, hey, you got spirits here and we're going to come here and we're going to screw around in your house, because that's not fair to the private client.
Right.
But a place like the mill that you have access to, you can do stuff like that a lot. Yeah. Adam or Don and Kelly have that as well down at the school.
Yeah.
And they got that place they can go to anytime, run any experiments. And I need a place like that.
I know, right?
Well, we could do it at Harold's house.
Yeah, that's true. That one, we could do it anytime at Harold's. But it was just very interesting, because it's really opened my eyes to seeing how much more I want to do experiments with, especially because being a sensitive.
That looks like an invite.
I know. Being a sensitive, that I'm so curious to see, because I'm still opening up about a lot of stuff, but now to be more intrigued by the experiment side of it. This one really. I
gotta post this comment.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, Harold would not care about more portals. No, Harold's problem is he thinks that he can set rules on, like he almost like invites them all in, but he says, no. But the bad ones, you got to stay here. The good ones are free to roam, and don't mess with me. The in-betweens
can't do nothing. Right? You just stay where you're at.
But it's like, dude, I don't think it works like that. Like, I don't think you can contain them up in your attic by putting a couple screws in.
No.
So Harold, his house every once in a while it lights up, and it's bad. There's some bad shit that happens at Harold's house sometimes. I've
experienced it. You've experienced it.
I've probably told this story on the live before, but I'll tell it again in case we got people that haven't heard me tell this. But one day I went over there to get equipment, and I was
in the van, so
I got a key to his house, and he's like, "Yep, nobody's home. Just go over there, get what you need." Blah blah blah. So, I went in, I opened the front door, and I walked in. I saw somebody the hallway looks into the kitchen and then the living room or the family room. And I saw somebody run through there. Like, no shit, solid figure. I thought, and then at the exact same moment, somebody ran across the entire hallway upstairs with heavy, heavy footsteps. I thought, oh my God, they're getting robbed. Seriously, I thought I walked in on a burglary. And so I stood there for a couple minutes, like, and I didn't hear anything else. So I finally went in the kitchen a little bit and peeked around and like asked if anybody was there and kind of checked around because, you know, if someone was hiding. But the direction that they went, there's really no place to hide.
No.
So,
And you
know,
can't, you either go
right.
outside or you go to the garage. There's
then then I went up to the ghost office. I walked in there. Oh my God. It was like somebody set up 1,000 of those static energy balls and they were just bzz, bzz, like that room was freaking buzzing.
Yeah.
Like I grabbed what I needed and got the hell out of there.
He came back to the van and was whiter than a ghost.
Yeah,
it was like, what is on? He goes, oh my God. And he just was like crazy. I mean, it was the first time I've ever seen him freak out.
I was legit scared. That scared me.
I've never seen him freak out. So that was the first time I've seen him freak out with anything. So,
and there was another time too. And Harold, well, he's not.
There's
watching,
been many a times. I remember we went over there one time when we were dog sitting Einstein.
But he was really affected last Halloween.
Yeah, but
he was.
Yeah,
there was something in his house.
We actually brought home things because he didn't want him in his house and he had no place to store them. So we ended up bringing him home.
But he was really. I mean, I've never seen him. He was like a. And Harold, I'm not picking on you when I say this, but we need to talk about our experiences as real as we can.
Yeah.
He was like a paranoid, like almost like
he was calling
Jack from The Shining.
He was calling Jack.
Not quite that bad, but he was.
But he was calling you like 4, 5, 6 times a day, and just and I mean, it was just like, dude.
He'd be talking to you, and he'd be like,
yeah,
you know, looking beyond you, and he's like, oh, there goes another one. Like, dude, what the hell is wrong with you? Like, he really freaked me out that year.
Yeah. Well, and especially when he started giving us everything, he goes, I can't have this in the house. I can't have this in the house. I mean, we had a lot of stuff over here for a while.
But then it all tones down and gets back to normal and everything's, you know, but then now that I'm not going to say because that's private family stuff. I don't want to say it goes to another place, another family member's house.
Yeah. But it's like, but whenever you go over there, you always get the tinglies when you go over there. I mean, even my kids, we took them swimming there one time. And like in the kitchen, my girls are not big. My girls are adults, but they aren't big on. They were teenagers at the time, but they aren't big on it. And the kitchen lights turned on, and there was no way they could have turned on by themselves, or turned on or off by themselves. And they literally were turning on and off by themselves. So it was just like, okay. So it was like
Mario's asking, what kind of attachment was it? I'm not going to say it was an attachment. It's
just an energy in their home.
I mean,
there's, I don't even know what's there.
Yeah. I don't want to say, you know, it wasn't, it's, I don't know, something followed us, but it really didn't attach.
No, it doesn't attach us. It just
follow, but
it's just Harold brings things to his house and he encourages things to come to his house.
Yeah.
And that is why they find peace there sometimes.
And I haven't done it for a while, but therefore, you know, when I lived across the street, I was that way too. Like,
oh yeah,
let's light this bitch up. I mean, show me something.
And he got to do that more over there now. I will say because I usually everything in this house is usually completely bubbled. I have been a little lax on it just because I know he wants some things.
And we have stuff happen here, but I've never been scared here.
But I set boundaries of what can and can't.
Yeah.
And with the boundaries, it seems to work. Like I do have a shadow. Like I don't allow things to present as shadows unless I know who it is, or I won't acknowledge it until I know who it is. So like we have a shadow right now that's in our house. I don't know who it is. So it doesn't get recognized.
Yeah, Sue, I'm sorry.
Oh, Sue.
if you want us to do a cleansing, it'll be $49.95. I'm just kidding. No, seriously, if you ever think there's something there, Sue,
we'll come over
and get rid of it. Like okay, Sue, since we're talking to you directly, since you chimed in, I'm just gonna address this. Like
berries in the backyard.
There were times where there was stuff in that house. For sure, 1000%.
Yep.
But then there was times where it would be fine for a while.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think it was anything there before I got there. I definitely think it's things that I brought or things that I brought in. I got to tell this story. I don't think I've ever told this on the live. So when I moved out of the house, Sue had some chairs in the basement that were there when I got there. I should have done this. I dropped the ball on this. I was going to set 4 chairs up in a circle and draw in chalk. I was going to draw a pentagram on the floor. So she would have came in and been like, what the hell were these people doing here?
I think we scared her enough with Barry.
Yeah. Yep, we scared her the one Halloween.
This is one. It actually wasn't even Halloween time. We actually put Barry. I don't know if some people don't know who Barry is. It's a cement bear that Jeff brought from another property that
she told her mom, she's like, oh, and he's such a nice man. He's even got this cute little bear statue. And then she found out where I got the bear from. She's like, oh shit.
And so then we were being funny, and so we put the bear in the yard facing her house, and we actually so then we actually put red lights glowing up on it, so it looked like it was glowing up and staring at Sue. And I think she was out with her nephew, and he was like, look at that bear. And we're like, and Sue was like, oh my god, it's the bear. But Barry actually sits in our backyard now. And this is funny though, because I do even question Jeff sometimes, because he'll move and I have not realized that Jeff's been in the backyard. I'll be like, hey, did you move Barry? Because it's like, it's just kind of a joke now with Barry, because if he moves any little bit, we always question it. Even though we found out at the old property, that we did find out at the property that he came from, that someone was moving him, and it wasn't a person's. I mean, like literally and he's heavy, so it was like, how can you move him? But he was being moved. And so it's just kind of our joke now that we just kind of turn Barry every once in a while just to see if somebody's paying attention that Barry is actually moving. But so we can go back to the mill thing. But yeah, there's a lot of experiments though that I want to do a lot more experiments than I did before, especially with the remotes. And
well, it's like I said,
that's why. But we want people, we encourage people to ask us, if they want something, or to want to see something or find out about something, ask us, and it can be something that we will probably try to include in one of our experiments, because we're very curious.
And also too, we're definitely going to rent the mill some night, and you get it from so you can set up at 7:00 at night, so we can do DVRs, all this stuff. We're definitely going to get that place. I think we can have up to 10 people. And I really, really want to have, people that follow us and watch us and stuff like that, give them a chance to go on a small team investigation to it's a very active place. Yeah. So we're definitely going to set that up.
Do experiments.
Yeah. I think we need to set that up. Maybe April, May.
End of April, May.
Yep. I think we really need to do that. So if anybody rewatches this, just type in the comments that, hey, I'd be interested, or, I definitely know there's people on here that want to do it. Yeah, it'll,
I think we worked it out. It would be like
$35 a person.
$35 a person, between $30 and $40 a person, depending on how many people would go. Like I said, you get a lot of history out of just going and seeing the history stuff in itself is really cool. But if you want to have an experience, this is a place you want to go to have an experience.
Yep, it's very active. There's a lot of spirits there, and they reside there. And
and Adam, like I said, he knows how he can kind of guide and help.
And if this we could probably charge $5 more if I add this comment. Most of the time, if you do an investigation there, Adam will be there. So, you get to investigate with Adam if you want. They kind of lay back unless you want them to, join you in whatever. They just kind of sit back and let you do your thing. But if you want them to come, the mill is in Dundee, Mario.
Dundee,
Michigan. Yep. So
it's about we're on the Michigan-Ohio line. It was 25 minutes.
Yep. Hey, Donna, are you still watching? And I don't want to start anything by making this comment, but I think you're going to know what I mean when I say this. I watched a video, and apparently you guys have demons at the haunted South Main School now.
What?
Which, yes, let's cheer for that.
What did I miss?
Demon Cell. I'll tell you later.
Oh, okay. I guess I will.
Don
Just
says
from
yes
that
and ugh.
yeah. Okay, I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm in for a story.
And here
that
again,
I
you know,
missed.
I'm not. I don't know. It was funny to me because
I
I've
will
never.
find out.
We've investigated there a lot, and I've never felt anything negative, let alone demonic.
Yeah.
And, you know.
I mean, you get some. I mean, there's some spots that you don't get. You're a little bit more
there's
unease, but nothing major negative there.
No.
Nothing.
But this was. Let's see. We have no demons. It's someone. Yeah, exactly.
Interpretation of their evidence. Very true.
Yep.
That's something that everybody's evidence can be totally different.
Here's another thing about demons that people don't know. So you can take a haunted doll. If it's haunted by a demon, that doll jumps from $175 to $500. We need to get some damn dolls in here and some demons and combine the two and make some cash because this is bullshit.
But we also know how to make them haunted.
Yeah, we do know how to make them haunted. I got a pretty compelling.
We actually they go to Harold's house they go to like a boot camp to learn how to be haunted. We take the dolls there, they get haunted, and then we bring them back, and then we
yeah, I like. I don't know if I was not ethical, I could have taken that. I could have probably got $175 for that doll.
Actually, we had like 3 of them.
Yep.
We had 3 dolls that went to Harold's house for boot camp, and they came back.
That being said, I'm not saying that items do not get attachments to them because the mill is full of items and there's a lot of spirits there. So, I mean, I believe a lot of those spirits probably came from the items that are there.
Yeah.
But there's another weird thing about that place is there's a lot of mannequins there.
Oh.
That if you're walking around in the dark, man, those
and
things
the dolls,
like,
the babies,
yep,
the baby
dolls.
Oh. Yep. I think there was only one that did not creep me out. And I think it was the little Native American baby. He's the only one that didn't creep me out. Every single one of them.
Yep, there's a lot of Native American artifacts.
And it doesn't matter the size. There's like little dolls,
yep,
big dolls,
yep,
big mannequins. Yeah, the worst mannequin though is on the 3rd floor. That one.
But see, you guys did you walk by the one in the black dress? It was like, okay, so you do that loop around to walk to where we were. Okay.
Now, Carmen, this is funny.
Me out.
Carmen liked that dress. Both of us were like, that's a really pretty dress. But that one did. I mean, they all freaked me out, but nothing was like as creepy as the one upstairs on the 3rd floor. Yep. That one's just creepy.
One. It's like I said, there's some dolls and mannequins that just seem to, like, no matter where you stand, they follow you with their eyes.
Mm-hmm. This one, it almost seemed like if you stared at her long enough, it was like just
wait for her to jump at you.
No, but it was just like, you know how when you just have the, like, you're staring and then all of a sudden you get this little, just that little tweak, like that much, like I just did this much of a movement. And that's what it seems like this mannequin's doing. It is so, and it's not just the head or the eyes, it's even the hands and the legs. I mean, if you look at her long enough, it looks like just a piece of her moves. I just was like, oh.
Yep.
Yeah, that black dress is really pretty.
Yep.
And then their newest addition, though, by the mannequin is the white wedding dress.
Yeah.
That's new. So that's something that's new in there. And I was kind of drawn to it a little bit. I mean, there was something that intrigued me. But then at one point, it looked like there was something like a gray shadowish thing moving back and forth. And we actually debunked that right away because Carmen and I both saw it. And then I kind of went looking and I don't remember what it was, but it's like, yeah, it's not. It's something with that. So we're going
to do a little side topic here. And I'm going to answer this question. So what do you think of those who collect haunted items? I don't think Zach Baggins has that museum. And I believe there's a lot of bad shit in that museum. There's proof of it. There's, people have gone down, blah, blah, blah. I don't think negative on people who collect haunted items. Where I'm skeptical is
how do you know?
Because there are legit haunted items, but how do you know that because there's a lot of sales on eBay and there's a lot of people selling haunted items that, like, dude, how do I know this is haunted just because you said so?
And that's the thing. We're not saying that, like,
because there are definitely haunted items.
I mean, there's haunted stuff. We're talking about these people that are saying, oh, yeah, they have a haunted coin. Well, how do you know it's haunted? And it's the ones that are selling, because some of the stuff they're selling, like there's some people that they're selling 70 dolls a week that are haunted. Well, how do you know they're all
Yep.
haunted?
And
How can somebody get that many haunted dolls in a week?
just saying, there's a lot of people making a lot of money selling haunted
Yeah.
items that, like, you know, how do I know? And I'm not going to spend $175 to find out if
No.
it's haunted. Home or object detail. Okay. So Don's saying you need to get a detailed history of the home or the object. and
But
detail-
a lot of the ones
Yeah,
that
but-
do that don't. So, but even if they do, how do you know that actually came from that place?
Yeah, because
Yeah,
there's
I mean,
one.
how
There's
do
one
you
thing in
know?
particular that I follow on Facebook, and I'm not gonna trash them, and I'm not gonna say who they are, but like, how do you get 7 to 10 haunted dolls a week to sell
Yeah, that's
at
what I said. It's like-
$100 or more each? And like I said, the demonic ones, quote, which bullshit. If you buy a demonic or doll, you are not living with that thing.
No.
You can't buy a demon and
Well-
control it. Like and that sells for $500 because demons
Okay.
are cool.
And I don't remember where this was from, but somebody was selling the key to, was it the Amityville house?
Yes.
How do you know that was, I mean, the key they have, that could have been a
Yep.
key to 20 million houses.
In the
And
old West
even
End.
though, yeah, but even with that, even if they said, well, it's paperwork, well, just because you have paperwork doesn't mean that key actually
Yep.
came here.
Yeah, it was a key
It's
from
just
the
saying
Amityville
that
house.
they had a key like that in the house doesn't mean it's the key. I mean, so it's like there's a lot that I would never buy a haunted item. Now
No,
I buy
wouldn't either.
we do buy old poker chips for Jeff, and
Yeah.
we
Well, but
find
those
things,
are-
but that's a totally different thing.
But see, those are verifiable historical objects, not haunted objects.
No, but I'm just saying that's a totally different
let me
thing,
grab
buying items like that. I mean, and like we have a bullet from the Detroit precinct.
Yep.
I mean, we have things that are, I mean, we can
I don't think
verify,
that
like,
bullet's haunted.
huh?
I don't think the bullet's haunted.
No,
It's just
the
cool.
bullet's on. It's just a cool thing.
It's a piece of history.
But like the poker chips, we know those came from that
Yeah.
that
this is,
casino because of where they're at. But it's just hard with the documentation.
Oh,
It's
you
hard
can't
with the
really see
light.
it.
You have to almost bring it down.
So this is so one of the projects I'm working on has to do with Toledo prohibition and gambling, and this is one from the Dixie Inn, which is verifiable
Mm-hmm.
casino from Toledo. I got a couple of those. Actually, I got 3 of those. Another one is the Mommy Club. I got 2 of those. And these are just vintage pieces of history. So that's, it'd be sweet if they were haunted, but they're not.
No. But I mean, those things, but these things all came with paperwork.
Yep.
And like but you can tell because I mean, it has its name on it that it came from that location. You couldn't really replicate these.
Don,
I mean,
you could make a killing on a show like that. I think that's a
Yeah.
that's a good, unique paranormal show that would be new. Like, yeah,
Yeah.
that would. Ooh,
Yeah, so
my
we,
brain's going now.
but so like said, but like when we even got these, Jeff got these a couple years ago for Christmas.
Yeah.
But these all came with paperwork. I mean, verifying that these were
Yep.
from but like I said, you can tell they're on there, and you can tell by, I mean, if you see a casino chip now and you see these casino chips, these are not a replica casino
shit.
chip. What'd you do?
I was gonna get you a modern one. You can.
Oh,
I mean,
yeah.
Just to explain it, you can feel the difference.
If you look at, and I worked at a casino, and I know, like,
Yep.
this is an old one, and like the new ones are all like pictures on them, and but even you can't really tell, like,
Yeah.
but the weight on them they're just made so differently.
Yep.
And like a lot of the modern ones, they actually have. When did you get this one?
When I went to Vegas.
Oh, I mean, these you can tell. I mean, I know these are made different than these, and you can just.
I mean,
tell.
they're all clay, but they feel different. It's like money. You can feel counterfeit money versus real money.
But like I said, it's like with haunted items, it's so much harder to really verify and document. I mean, if you I would think you need to have pictures And
Yep.
you have to have, when you have a picture, you have to have like like pictures of with background in the house, like say for that key. Well, you need to have pictures in that house with the key in the door with the pictures, and then have something on there that you can legit tell
Yeah.
it is the exact same
Yep.
key,
Yep. Yeah, it's
not just the documentation.
I do like Don's idea though. An antique roadshow for haunted dolls
That
would
would
be.
kind of be, or antique items even. That
Yeah.
kind of be
Yep.
cool.
Yep. That would
Maybe
be.
that's your thing.
I don't know, man. My wheels are spinning.
Could
Next
be
year
your
on
thing.
Discovery Plus. No, I'm just kidding.
Hey, maybe you need to pitch that.
Yeah, that's a great idea. Another show that, and it wasn't my original idea, but like um a paranormal team, like the paradrama would be another good reality show.
What did we say what we were gonna call it? I can't remember.
I don't remember either, but
We compared it to something, and I
Don,
don't
that
remember.
was not your idea. I'm deleting that original comment. he wants money now. So
I'm trying to think, but yeah, we said there could be a drama show.
Yeah.
I think I don't remember. Maybe it was like Survivor or something.
Yeah,
It was. I don't remember, but it was like, oh yeah, it would be.
Yep.
The drama would be a perfect show.
So we've gone about an hour. I think we should probably wrap it up now. Does anybody have any other questions or ideas or thoughts, or, we could talk more about experimentation. Like I said, experimentation in how can you prove that mediumship works? Because I'll be honest, a lot of times I'll watch like reading shows or tarot cards or blah, blah, blah. And it's like the, the Blade used to have your horoscope daily readings. Like,
yeah,
10 of the 12.
Okay,
applied.
but now wait a minute. Okay. Well, maybe this isn't a great example, but so
Jerry, I would have to like delete us and
yeah,
get us out of this and
So,
try and find it. I don't know if I can do that. My
Adam
computer skills
did
aren't that good.
readings yesterday, short, like real quick readings
Yep, and
yesterday.
his was right about you for sure.
Okay. Now, I don't know if it's because Adam and I have a connection. And actually, Adam and I did talk earlier that day, but I have not mentioned anything that we had talked about. Only one thing Adam would know about, and that's because of the connection with, he knows where I do my grounding. That is the only thing. But he said something about gardening. Kid you not, Jeff and I have been talking about the seeds that we're planting this summer in the garden.
The day before.
Yeah, the day before. And I mean, I literally was looking at the seeds that morning to decide which ones we were going to buy online, which ones we're going to get in the store. Then so that came up, and I said, well, my uncle also was a gardener, because he usually comes up in readings a lot of times for me. So it's possible he's the one that was pushing the gardening thing. But then we live by water, and probably the reason I live by water is because my grounding is being at the water. I like being at the beach and my feet in the water. So that is the way I ground. And so he kept mentioning water, and I'm like, well, it's been a while since I've been grounded, that I've gone and grounded myself. And I've done it in the snow. Not really.
That was my idea.
Not really. He finally decided he wanted to do something, but it wasn't really grounding
I just wanted to see if we were stupid enough to go walk in the snow.
Yeah.
And she was like taking it serious. I was like, oops.
Yeah, no, you were taking it serious. So I was supportive. So I actually did it. But then my outcome was better because I had the intention. My intention was so much better than his.
Back in 8th grade, we used to have like sissy tests.
You didn't pass the sissy test.
Fuck, I didn't. I was out there just as long as you were.
Yeah, oh wait, no. You walked out and stood in one spot. I kept walking and came back.
That's worse than walking. Jesus.
But his feet were cold. Mine didn't get cold till I came in. Yeah, whatever. Can you tell we're married now? Right? But so I mean, he was able to do it. I mean, he was able to tell that. But it's not the first time. I also have Carmen that, I mean, has come out, and I mean, Carmen has come through and said stuff. This is before Carmen and I really knew each other. And Carmen had she pulled out my son's name and did not even know I had a son that had passed away when I was 6 months pregnant. And she actually even pulled out his name. I mean, and not very many people know his name. So it was like, okay, that's kind of, I mean, but I think that was our bonding moment. It's like, okay, this is my go-to now. But I also had someone before that did same thing. They were able to pull things that nobody would have known. But then I've also had readings from 2 others that were not even close.
Or just general. You know what I mean?
Oh, now see, Adam knew we were talking about him, so his ears are ringing.
Now we have to start over. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Boo Bites on the Paranormal. Tonight we're going to talk about Adam and only Adam.
We were just talking
It's
about
an
your
all
reading.
Adam show.
We were just talking
Just
about
kidding,
your
Adam.
how you do we're doing readings.
Yeah,
and
we
how
were
you're
talking about
spot on.
your remote and like the evidence that we got and blah blah blah. So yeah, you'll definitely have to watch back. Yeah, no, Don, I don't think you have a problem with mediums. You're very skeptical of them, and you should be.
Yeah.
Because like Fox was saying up there too, so I've probably shared this live, but we've got a case that we're doing with Togs where this lady had some stuff going on in her house, and she had a sensitive walk through and tell her a bunch of stuff. And it's one of the things that the medium said was that there's a guy standing in the corner of her bedroom watching her sleep. Well, this lady doesn't sleep in her bedroom anymore because of that.
She's freaked out.
And it's like there's no evidence to support that. There were no claims to support that in the beginning.
But
it's like
you're right.
It's
but we do know
so now
there's-
she's freaked
yeah.
out over that.
But and then we do know there's something there
Yeah.
because I got scratched. So we
No,
do.
you didn't go there.
Which one
Different
is?
one.
Oh, is this a different one? Okay,
Yeah.
I thought.
Nope.
We have too many cases
Nope.
that
You're gonna go there probably next Sunday.
We have too many cases that are too familiar.
Yep. Shit. Carmen, plug your ears.
No, yeah. So it's just, I mean, it's like I said, and it's sometimes, and I know sometimes mediums can be no, they might not always be on target, but
Well, even the best are 70%.
yeah, but it's and this is my honest opinion on it. I think when you have a connection with the person that's doing the reading, you get more accurate results because I don't like what
Don, just go ahead.
and
Post
I
it.
don't because
I'll just post it.
I don't know why, because the 3 that I have that like I don't tell them. I mean, I won't. For instance, the medium that I saw before I met Jeff, she had predicted. She goes, "I said, what?
She's legit.
She's legit. I
Yeah.
kid you not, and she has actually multiple people. She has, and she actually know. I mean, my uncle has come through with her.
She's not very friendly, but she's
She's
legit.
not, but she came through because she literally before this was probably 6 months, maybe 8 months before I met Jeff. She says, "I see a J. I see a Jeff," and I'm like, "What you talking about?" I said, "She goes, I see you marrying a Jeff." I said, "I was married to a Jeff." I said, "I will never date another Jeff, ever." And she goes, "Well, it's a J name." And then I was like, well, maybe it's talking about this one guy that I've been talking to. And it wasn't this Jeff. It was a different name, and it was not a Jeff
Yeah,
name.
Dana had 4 boyfriends when we met.
I did. Yeah, I did. No, well,
Not boyfriends, but
they weren't boyfriends, but I was talking to multiple people. And so it was one of those guys that I thought she was talking about. And lo and behold, here comes a little bit later. But then also Carmen predicted when I was going to get in, that we were going to get engaged before we first started talking, because she
also predicted.
Well, this
my
isn't the same
grandkid.
thing. Yeah. She predicted the grandkid, but she also, I mean, because we thought she was talking when she predicted she saw a wedding or an engagement in December. We thought she was talking about my daughter because she's my daughter. This was a couple months later. I was
We
like,
were
oh my gosh.
planning her wedding.
Well, yeah, it was at that point. It was like a couple, maybe a month later. I was like, oh my gosh, you were right. My daughter's getting married in December. And lo and behold, it was like, no, she was actually talking about us because we got engaged in December. Not that year, but a couple years later. But it's so.
It was 1 year later, I think.
Was it? No, 2.
I don't know.
2 years.
Let's not do math right now.
Nope. But yeah, so I mean, it really, I think if you have a connection with the person that's doing your reading, I think it worked. I think you have a better outcome.
Don brings up a point too. He says, I think we all have some sort of intuition or inner voice.
Mm-hmm.
And I totally 1000% agree with that. And I think if you choose to pursue abilities, that's the difference between people that are and aren't. Because I've heard a lot of mediums say that pretty much anybody can be sensitive, at least.
Well, yeah, and I know,
but there's no way I could ever do what Adam does.
But
No
I
way.
know. Oh, I know. I know
I
I'm never
think you
going.
possibly could if you pursued it.
Yeah, if I would,
I can't.
if I would pursue it more, I might not get as far as Carmen as I wouldn't get as far as Carmen and Adam. I definitely would never get as far as Adam. But I even noticed though when I step back from meditating a little bit and I stop that focus of that a little bit, I notice that when we go on a ghost hunt, it doesn't seem like I'm as open and I don't get as much there. And so he's like, yes, you can. I said, I know, but I need
Me
to
or
put
Dana,
more,
Adam?
yeah, well, we know he is, but he just won't admit it. For
Yeah, I
me,
have a
I just
sensitive
know
moment from time to time.
maybe this is what I actually see now that we're talking about this. Maybe one time I just really need to have a serious talk with Adam and say, what the fuck do I need to do? What do I
Well,
really
he's
need to do?
told you.
Well, I know with the meditation and all that, but maybe just sitting and being like, oh, maybe him and Carmen, they just need to kind of bombard me and just kind of be like, look, this is what we need to do. This is what we need to get you. And this is what I'm ADHD. So it's hard. It's really hard sometimes for me to focus on
But
a lot
here's
of
another
stuff.
person too. Like, okay, here again, we're gonna bring Harold into it. I hope you watch this, Harold, because we
Oh
love
my
you.
gosh.
But like, Harold has abilities, but
Oh.
he pushes them away on purpose.
Yeah.
And like, but he does have natural abilities for
Mhm.
sure. It's in his blood. His
Well,
family does.
And this is proof though too, because we went to
Oh,
he is watching.
shit.
Okay, just more recently have I started where I'm actually doing investigations with Harold. And so we actually were at a house recently, but even at Spaghetti Warehouse, the Spaghetti Warehouse was the
Yeah.
first time I've ever investigated with Harold. And Harold, I got to see Harold in action, which is pretty cool because I've never done that.
Harold's sensitive side came out in that.
Yeah, but also like when
He can't deny it.
because Harold knows I'm sensitive, even though he says he doesn't believe in it. He knows I'm
No,
sensitive. He says that,
believes it.
but he does. But knowing that I'm sensitive and I'm still younger at it, like he'll always, I mean, he checks on everybody, but he'll be like, "Are you sure you're okay?" I mean, he'll push you, but he knows he will ask, "Are you sure you're okay?"
Yep.
And even when we go on investigations, like I'm like sometimes, and I don't know if it's like I kind of get
Harold's
ghost
like that dad
looking
guy,
or something. He's like, because it's almost like he senses when I'm like starting to get kind of like the headache going on or something going on. It's like,
but he's like that dad. Like he's like, go ahead, go get yourself messed up, but I got your back. You're not gonna get really messed up.
Spaghetti Warehouse,
but I'm gonna push you a little bit.
He pushed and pushed and pushed.
He's pushed me before too, and I appreciate that.
Well, no, I think the worst pushing he ever did to me.
I know what you're gonna say.
He set me up bad. Really bad. We went. It was a private investigation.
We went to.
Again.
It was a. But okay, this place. If this place had negative energy, like
this place
residual, this place was it.
Okay, so I was with Dan. Well, I think it was Butch.
Yep, Butch was there.
And Harold. I think that was it. I'm pretty sure that was it. We went in the garage. We go in there and they want to check out this car that's in there. Dan goes on the one side and it kind of is like something just doesn't seem right in this thing. So I'm the newbie. So he's like, Dana, go get in the car. Just go nose around in the car.
And this car smelled like weed, death, and gas.
I sat down. I didn't even sit down. I put my knee on the driver's side seat, and I'm like, I'm gonna puke. I'm like, and I'm trying to get out of there, and I can't. And him, Harold, Butch, and Dan are all laughing at me. But then Harold went, and I'm outside. Oh, Uncle Jeff was with us too.
Yes. Maybe it was Uncle Jeff and not Butch.
Maybe it was. I don't remember. But so I'm outside. I mean, it took me forever to get outside. I finally get out there. I am like heaving. It's so bad, and I can't stop. I finally go back in. I go back in. Then somebody else said, I think Harold was starting to heave. Uncle Jeff is starting to. I'm like, oh my gosh. So I tried to go back in again. Nope, started, and I could not stop. it was like, okay, so we were out of there. I walked around a little bit, cleared my head. I go back inside. Harold's like, hey, go get Jeff out of the garage. I'm like, what? He goes, I need go get him. I need some
Yeah, because
back.
then he sent me in
He
there.
said, yeah, because he sent Jeff in there. So then a little bit afterwards, he sends me. He goes, hey, I need something from Jeff. Go get Jeff. So I go in there, and of course, as soon as I step in there, I'm right at it again. And Jeff's like, what the heck's wrong with you? And I'm like, oh my God, Harold made me come back out here. And I literally was, I mean, I think I was still physically sick from that. And I mean, it lingered
Like,
forever. I mean, I
you
literally,
legit, like, you got sick for about 4 weeks.
yeah, I was like,
after that.
my sore throat, everything. It was so
Yeah.
bad.
Yep.
So that was my initiation into togs.
But there again,
But he had my back because he
Yes.
was like, Uncle Jeff, walk her around a little bit to
He
make
will-
sure she's okay. And he made sure Uncle Jeff stayed with me until I was okay. But then as soon as I was okay and I was back in the house, he goes, go back out to the garage.
Yep. Harold will definitely push you, but you never, like,
I was the
he
humor
definitely
that
watches.
day.
Like, if he feels you're in danger, you're on his watch list for
Yeah.
sure. Like, there's no.
And I mean, I know that like investigations.
But we need to be
it is.
pushed.
Yeah. But at the like even at Spaghetti Warehouse, when we
He
were
looked
upstairs,
he looked at me one time and he's like, straight up, he came up to me, he's like, hey man up. Like, this is
Yeah.
what we're here for. Quit being a pussy.
Yeah, I mean, but like at Spaghetti Warehouse, I mean, he knew I was really having a hard time because there was a lot of little kids like swarming around
That was
me.
a crazy ass.
And yeah, and he was like, just can you hold on a little bit longer? I'm like, yeah.
Yep.
I mean, and I did, but it was really starting to get to me because it was all these little kids just clinging to me and wanting, and I just was like, I can't. And it was rough, but I mean, he pushed, but he also made sure I was okay afterwards and everything too.
Oh yeah, for sure. He's definitely, like I said, he's like that dad or grandpa, or, like, he'll fuck with you a little bit, but he's got you.
Yeah. Needless to say, when he tells me to do something like that, I kind of look at him and kind of like, don't you dare make me go. And where I get to that point again of wanting to, I don't like to puke. So, and when if I do, then it's like my throat's, I might actually lose my voice for quite some time.
And you did for like 4 weeks.
Yeah, I had no, and hard enough, my job entails talking on the phone all day long. So that makes my job rough.
So I don't know. I think we're about empty tonight, aren't we?
I think so.
It's been an hour and 12 minutes.
So if anybody wants to know about or wants to give us ideas for for experiments to do with either the remote or anything else,
we got goals, and one of the goals is like I want to prove mediumship, because there's no real studies, there's no real science on it, I don't even know if you can use the scientific method to prove it, but like, I don't know, man. This video that's going to come out is definitely going to have, people may argue, but I think it's proof 100%.
It's the beginning of our documented proof.
There's two things that, like, I don't think anybody can deny that that's legit shit.
Yeah. Like I said, it's the beginning of our proof of actually having physical documentation of it. And it's our baseline, and we'll go from there. Cause it will be, like I said, some of the ideas I have are so cool. I can't wait to try these experiments out now.
So if last chance for questions.
Yep. And
if
then
no one asks a question in 30 seconds, we're going to end.
And then also, if anyone is interested in doing, an investigation with us in Dundee at the old mill.
Yep.
Just message us, private message Jeff, myself, or on the Boo page, or leave a comment in this. And actually, don't leave a comment in this because I sometimes don't get back to them right away. So just message one of us or the Boo page, because I do get the comments on. Well, actually, yeah, I've been hiding on Facebook. I just kind of stepped back from Facebook. So the only thing I do on Facebook right now is Boo Productions stuff or Togue stuff. Well, I haven't even been really doing Togue stuff. But so if you, he said try that. We've actually done that.
We've done this a lot. Mario, if you go to our page, I know we have a couple videos up of some really good Estes sessions. And one was the Spaghetti Warehouse that we were talking about.
Yep.
Like the kids really came through on that.
And that one was with myself and Joe.
Yep, Joe from 222 Paranormal.
And Harold. And then the other ones that we have are from Carmen and I at was it
Century Tavern.
Century
It was
Tavern
in
and North,
North
Ridgeville.
Ridgeville. Yep.
That's another one that we have that we've done those. The one at Spaghetti Warehouse is unreal because Joe and I have never investigated ever before.
That was a oddly weird good connection.
Yeah.
You, Joe, and Harold, like that was a really, really good.
And Butch was with us though for some of it too, and
but
that
not for that part.
No,
but you guys,
the whole
that
night
was like a really good team. I don't know. Like I said, and Harold, you know, he likes to deny his sensitivity, but like,
yeah,
he was on it that night.
But that was crazy because that was the first time I have ever investigated with Joe, Harold, and Butch. I've done like a few things with Butch, but never really an investigation. And Butch and I had experiences down in the basement at Spaghetti Warehouse. We actually saw a shadow person actually leaning up against a wall, push up off the wall, and walk away. And Adam actually has gone there, and he's kind of seen the same shadow. So we're kind of like, yeah, got somebody else to back us on that
Adam
one.
goes there for a family dinner, and he's like texting me like, dude, I just saw some dude up on the ductwork like checking us out.
And we're telling him, wait, go to this place. Look over here.
Yep.
Excuse me. That, and then the one with Carmen though but the upstairs with Joe and Harold was crazy, although Harold kept trying to blame me for dropping the recorder,
for screwing up all Becky's stuff.
It wasn't me.
There's one part too in this video, like I don't think it's in the video that I posted, but like Harold drops a lot of stuff in this part. But then he gets Joe all suited up to do the Estes. He's got his blindfold, his hat, the headphones are perfect. He can't hear shit. But Harold didn't see him put it on, so he's like, take it all off again and start over. And then Joe has all kinds of problems like setting it up. I don't know, it's funny.
Yeah, it was fun with those guys. But like I said, it's something that we thought it was only like 5-10 minutes, and it was like what 30-40 minutes. It was crazy. I'm just gonna put this up, but this is a different topic for a different show, because I mean we're 117, so like we're probably gonna wrap this up. But like Harold definitely has some EVPs that I don't think are earthborn. Yeah,
and that's maybe another topic for another show. But like he's got some secret EVPs that they're weird.
Yeah.
They're definite voices, but they don't sound human. They sound alienish.
Yeah.
And I'll leave it at that. So thank you everybody for watching. We're down to 6 viewers. So, we're going to wrap this up. Again, do the rewatch. Hit us up if you want to do. Yeah. Okay. So Adam's talking. Yeah, he's got some too. So, but this is how we roll.